Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so hello everyone. So my name is Yas. Thank you for joining my session. I'm excited to give a talk about the automate behavior-driven development today. So let me start with introducing myself. So my name is Yas. I'm a chief architect working at Docomo Innovations in Palo Alto, which is a Silicon Valley office at NTT Docomo. And Docomo is the largest mobile carrier in Japan. Almost half of the population of the Japanese people are using Docomo smartphones such as iPhone and Android. My expertise is cloud, DevOps, and agile software development. I'm leading a cloud project in Docomo in Silicon Valley. I've been involved in Drupal community 17 years. So here is our team. Our team members are globally distributed in California, India, and Japan. Our cloud team is designed as completely virtual, so the team is sustainable during the past hard time. This is what we are developing. We have built Cloud Orchestrator as an open source project based on Drupal. So you can search Drupal Cloud Orchestrator. This is one-stop portal which is capable to manage multiple clouds such as AWS, Kubernetes, OpenStack, VMware, and even Terraform. So let me show some quick demo of Cloud Orchestrator. So this is the login screen of the Cloud Orchestrator. Then I lost my. Okay. And the username and password. Oops. Yes, so this is a landing screen of the Cloud Orchestrator. And then you can see the map of the your data center location that you have your own cluster or AWS or Kubernetes or even OpenStack like this. And then we can access immediately from this dashboard, for example, AWS Oregon region. And then you can see the AWS resources like this, instance list. This, if I click the instance and click the monitor, and we can see the status of the instance and also a console output like this. And then we can switch to the Kubernetes cluster. So we can manage multiple Kubernetes cluster through Cloud Orchestrator, like deployments and pods and so on. And then also you can access to OpenStack as well. Like, this is one-stop portal. So this is a unified portal with the unified GUI. And then we can go to the Terraform. And then we can see what's going on the Terraform like this. So this is a Cloud Orchestrator that we are developing. And then today, I'm gonna give a talk about the story of the how we automate the DevOps behavior-driven development testings. Okay. All right, then this is today's agenda. So I'm gonna show the development model, and then second, what's Behat for BDD. Which stands for behavior-driven development. And then third, templating for Behat testing scenarios. And then lastly, automate testing for BDD. So before diving into BDD, let me start with software development model to understand the position of design, coding, and testing. So
Yes, are you showing a different screen? We are still.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'll introduce this V model for SDLC, which stands for Software Development Lifecycle, because it is easy to explain about the relationship among design, coding, and testing phases. The software development starts with getting business requirements from our customer and also systems requirements. And then we can move on to software component design. Actually, thanks to Drupal core framework, I do believe that we can design the component architecture with our minimum efforts. After that, we proceed with the function design, then coding. On the other of the design phases, we have unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. So those design and testing phases are corresponding each other like this. So we handle TDD, which stands for test-driven development at the bottom portion. BDD aims systems requirements as a system testing. ATDD, which stands for acceptance test-driven development, covers business requirements. So we have a couple of testing types, such as TDD, BDD, and ATDD. So in Drupal, PHPUnit, as known as simple test, covers unit testing and integration testing. We can achieve BDD by Behat and the Drupal extension that I explained from now on. So I think you could understand the position of TDD and BDD. So let us dive into BDD. So first of all, let me show the PHPUnit code like this. So this is very complicated. So do you understand what's going on this code? Shortly. But on the other hand, this this is BDD test scenario code. The same question in the previous slide. Do you figure out what this BDD test scenario code will do? So we can read and understand this time the test scenario because it is written in our English language, not programming code. Actually, this is programming code, but it looks like the natural language. The point is, once we write a test scenario in our natural language, Behat runs the test scenario as written in the code. This is the beauty of BDD, and the learning curve is not so steep to learn about how to write a test scenario. So non-tech people like our product owner or product manager can also write the test scenarios. One of our team members who has non-technical background, actually her major is digital art. She's joining our Cloud Orchestration development project and helping us to write the BDD test scenarios. So remember the V model of SDLC. Actually, we can convert business requirements or system requirements, such as user stories, to BDD test scenario as it is like this. So what's Behat? The short answer is that we can test our website by virtual browser by using Behat command. So here is long answer in detail. Behat is test suite framework for BDD, which consists of several components. In Behat, we have a feature file that is a set of test scenario written by so-called Gherkin syntax. And we install some extensions to support Drupal and Drush into our testing environment, and the browser testing by web drivers. So we will use some extensions for Drupal web testing. The Behat command invokes web driver for Chromium web browser. And the Chrome driver calls the native API of headless browser, which means a virtual browser without any GUI as a process on a Linux server, for example. So this headless browser is actually just a process on an operating system. And then this virtual browser accesses to the actual website for AUT application on the test site. In our case, we are developing Cloud Orchestrator, so we want to test our live Cloud Orchestrator site by Behat command with Chromium headless browser. So how we can write the Behat BDD test scenario? So let me move on to Gherkin syntax. Gherkin is widely used a variety of programming languages other than Behat in PHP, like a Python, Ruby, or Java in BTT. Starting from keyword feature on the top of this test scenario, for example, that we call a feature file, describe the overview of this test scenario on the top, and then start with keyword scenario, writing actual commands to access to the website, like login as anonymous user with the keyword given as the next. I'm not logging, and when I visit /clouds, then I should be on /user/login URL. And I should see the heading login. So when we start the keyword given, it represents the initial state and the condition. Starting keyword when, it makes Behat take the actual action to the virtual browser. The keyword then and checks the expected results. So we understand how to write the test scenario by Gherkin syntax. It's so easy. Then soon I had a question. Can I use parameters? Because the test scenario looks static. We want to give some variables into our test scenarios. The answer is yes. Starting with keyword scenario outline, we can give the variable parameters into test scenario like this. The green bracket words are placeholder corresponding to the table header column below. In this example, there are 3 rows in a table, so that Behat will repeat this test scenario 3 times by changing the values of the placeholders automatically. So the role, verb, the code are corresponding to the table header, and the table below, starting with the example, contains some 3 rows, like authenticated user, not C, and 403, access denied. Those actual values are corresponding to the header column, like role, verb, code, heading, and shown in the green color. And then it will go to the scenario outline. So Behat automatically inject those 3 rows, like authenticated user and a cloud administrator and administrator. So those 3 rows are going to the 3 test scenarios. So then my next question came up. So how it works by natural language? Actually, Mink extension and the Drupal extension PHP libraries working with the Behat command defines a certain programming logic in PHP like this. The trick is that the method header includes the keyword @symbol, in this case, @given, and the sentence in this example. Behat analyzes the comment header of PHP code, and then Behat processes 2 files together. One is test scenario that are introduced in the previous slide, and then features by Gherkin syntax like natural language. The other one is PHP code shown in this slide as a programming logic like this. So here is the example of associating with a parameter in a sentence and a variable in the code. We can include the parameter as the placeholder in the sentence, and the logic can take over the parameter as the variable into function method arguments. So column name and the data names are corresponding each other. So we can even define the sentence using a regular expression. So maybe you have a quick question. So do we need to write eventually PHP testing code in each conditions, actions, and assertions like this? So answer is no. Thanks to Mink extension and the Drupal extension PHP libraries for Behat, we don't have to write this kind of lots of PHP code. because those extensions already define most of major operations for web access, such as input text field, turn on checkbox, click a link, and so on. So we can use Behat out of box. Here is a list of the predefined scenario definition list. So this is a very, the detail, the sentences, but we can see the natural language in the list, on the list. So we already have 150 predefined definitions to operate web forms, websites like this. So however, I wasn't satisfied with the scenario outline scheme because we need to give the hard-coded parameters into table in a scenario outline. So what if we want to put the credentials such as a username and a password or API token into our test scenario? In that case, can we publish our scenario as open source in Drupal.org, for example? So we decided to develop the preprocessor of test scenario based on Twig template. We developed the preprocessor for Twig templating for feature files. By using our custom Drush command, double brackets shown in the red color will be replaced into some values from separate YAML files. So we developed the templating preprocessor. So okay, it looks we prepared everything that we need to automate our testing by Behat. So let me explain how we automate it. So first, we built our Docker container as a BDD testing client. So it downloads our Cloud Orchestrator source code, including test scenario templates. Our team could publish our test scenario without any placing our own credential to access to our backend system, such as AWS or Kubernetes, because these are just Twig templates without any credential. So we run Docker container, and it runs the preprocessor of templating by Drush command. First, it reads a YAML files which contains a parameter mapping that we store on our local file system for such as credential and secrets. And then replace double brackets variables to the actual values defined in the YAML files. And then generate the actual feature files into designated directory. And then now we can run Behat command. In our case, we execute run behat.sh command, which also kicks Chromium headless virtual browser. So the Behat executes the BDD test based on synthesized feature files, and we can get the output. So basically, we prepare two files, like a YAML file and a Twig template for scenario outline files. And then our Drush command will generate the actual feature file for Behat for the test scenario automatically by synthesizing the two files, private files and template files. So now we want to automate the test process for daily automated testing. So we are using the GitLab CI/CD pipeline. We have already done with our automated testing for TDD. Thanks to Drupal community, we can test our code on Drupal.org every time we push the code. But we want to have the same one like automated testing system on Drupal.org, because in the past, unfortunately, we faced some problem that the automated testing system had broken, and then that stopped our development. So we built exactly the same CI/CD pipeline like Drupal.org by using our private GitLab repository in our project. So by the way, here is the architecture basics of GitLab CI/CD pipeline. We have the developers in our team, and GitLab CI/CD pipeline consists of two parts. One is GitLab master, hosted by GitLab as software as a service. And the other one is GitLab runner. GitLab master has a GitLab repository, and then it has a functionality of a CI/CD pipeline. And then GitLab CI/CD pipeline system invokes GitLab runners to process a certain test. So we can set up multiple GitLab runners like this diagram. GitLab runners are, in other words, those are workers. In that way, we can run our test parallelly. Therefore, we can schedule multiple test scenarios independently at the same time. Also, GitLab has its own container registry like a Docker Hub. So when a developer pushes the code to the GitLab repository, the GitLab CI/CD pipeline detects the repository state and the event that its source is pushed, for example. And the GitLab CI/CD pipeline pulls a container from container registry as the testing environment, including Behat test suite. And then deploy the container to each runners, then start test parallelly. Here is our actual deployment diagram using Amazon EC2 for GitLab runners. Also, the test results is notified to our Slack channel. So how we can build CI/CD pipeline? So very simple. Describe the pipeline definition file in a one YAML file like this. Then put that file to the root directory onto your branch. That is the story of our automation. So, okay, let me show some demos for Behat and CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so I think you can see my console terminal, and let me log into the my test site. Yes, so I installed the Behat onto my Linux server remotely, and then I can run this kind of the command like a run Behat on the remote machine, and then it start Chromium, which is the Chrome browser on the top of the Linux system. Actually, Chrome or Safari or Edge or Firefox is the browser with the GUI. But in this case, the browser is running on the top of the Linux server without any GUI. But, the test is done in a process as if it is running the actual virtual browser in a process. So we cannot see any GUI from the console, but the test is actually behaving creating the virtual browser in a process on a remote server, and then start the test. And then as you can see, test is going on like with the some the natural language. Then I should see has been created. I should see K8S in the BDD something role. And when I visit /admin people /roles /add, and I enter BDD for role name or press save, and then I visit, I check the box or something like this. So these are actually, computer, the program software is actually operates the virtual browser. So again, we cannot see any GUI, but actually, the actual, operation happen in a remote server with these natural language scenario. And then as you can see, 3 scenarios and 38 steps, 1 minute, 3 seconds, finish, and then scenario is going on like this. It's very fast, because everything is automated. So we don't have to manipulate, operate the actual GUI, actual browser through the GUI on our Mac or our Windows. So just we run the command, and then our Behat command can run the test scenario based on the natural language. So this is the actual demonstration of the Behat. Okay. Then we log out. Okay. Then when we type some command like this, for example. Yeah, so if we go to the Drupal site, for example, when we upload the patch, suggest patch like this, and then copy the plain diff from here, and then even we can test from my Mac terminal. And then what happened here that I want to show is if I create the patch for new features or a bug fix on the Drupal.org like this. Like this. Let's go back. Yes. So I created this kind of the patch for the bug fix, and then I submit the my patch to run the test on the CI/CD pipeline for the GitLab, and then you can see like this. So test is running for AWS, Kubernetes, and OpenStack, even a coding standard check. So the 5 icons are parallelly executed on the remote server. So what is happening here is that, so I can show you, for example, the AWS, the coding standard check is already have been done like this. So what happened here is once we create some patch on the local machine and upload to the Drupal.org, and then from my remote, from my local terminal, and then just to type the command with the link of the diff file here, and then we can kick the CI/CD pipeline on our GitLab CI/CD pipeline system remotely, and then the test will automatically start like this, and then to test success. And then we automate this kind of things every day testing, so daily testing. Like here you can see the 7:30 in the morning today, and 8 and 8:30. We parallelly and then we schedule the different version of the testing, like a 4x, 5x, and then 5x Behat. So when I click the Behat testing here, and then I can see the result. When I wake up in the morning, then around the 8:30 or 8 o'clock, then I can see the results. Like automated testing is successful. So as I show the some terminal, then those logs are corresponding to the each scenario test. And then if everything is okay, our software is working correctly based on the our test scenario every day. We are developing, and we are doing the agile development with the very super fast pace. So we merge our features a couple of times a day. So this is kind of the regression test, but you know, doing the daily testing, you know, we guarantee our software is not broken, and then it's good. Yeah. So that the yes, that the GitLab CI/CD pipeline demonstration. Okay. Okay, so here is lessons that we learned. So we forked the Drupal extension and adding our own custom actions for the scenarios, such as login process, take a screenshot in case of test failures, test for table rows, assertion of success status messages. So these are that we implemented by ourselves because the functionalities were not enough based on the existing Behat extension library. But we published our custom libraries into the GitHub. So here is known issues and the solutions. Time is short, so I don't discuss the detail here. But if you are interested in handling those issues, please let us discuss offline. And then in the last part of my presentation, I'll give you where to find our solutions. Basically, our scripts to automate Behat is including our cloud module in Drupal.org, and our custom Drupal extension is open to our GitHub repository. So also, please visit our website and learn about the Cloud Orchestrator, and also subscribe YouTube channel. So please contact me if you want to use a Cloud Orchestrator in your project organization. Any development contributions are welcome at the cloud project at Drupal.org. So that's all. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you for taking your time today. So if you have any questions, is that okay? Okay, so that's all. So my presentation. Thank you so much for joining.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Yes. Let me go ahead and stop the recording.